division of complex numbers. Now, we want to look at this complex number. The general form is A plus BI, and we want to divide it by C plus DI. Now, how do we do that? Well, what you want to do is multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. All right? So, remember now, the conjugate, what it will be. So you multiply. Now you have to multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate. Now, if we multiply the denominator by the conjugate, what will happen? We have C plus DI. Let us concentrate on the denominator for now. What do we get? The denominator of the answer. It will be C times C, which is C squared plus C times DI. So what we have is C DI. Then after this, we say plus. Oh, my mistake. The conjugate, I just realized it is a minus. The conjugate should be minus. So let's look at that again. C times C gives us C squared plus C times negative DI will be a minus CDI. See that? Then DI times C. So we have a plus. We can put C DI. Instead of DIC, I just put the C in front. Then DI times negative DI is going to be a minus D squared I squared. DIR squared. Let me put it that way first. So DI all squared, right? That's what we get. So we'll soon deal with the numerator. We'll soon deal with what happened up top. Let's see what happened down the bottom first. So we have C squared. Then let's put this as minus CDI plus CDI, but guess what? What happened here? Negative CDI plus CDI. That is gone, right? So what we have is a minus D squared I squared. See that? But here, what you have happened is that the C squared part, you no longer have an I because this I squared is negative 1. So you have C squared minus negative 1, which is negative D squared. So it's C squared plus D squared. Now let's see what happens up top. Right? So you have C minus di up top. So what you're going to do is multiply out A times C. You have AC minus A times di. So you have minus A di, then bi times C, that is plus C bi, then bi times negative di. So you have minus bi di. So that is what is happening up here. So what you have is going to be AC minus, now you're going to have A di plus BCI, then minus BD I squared. So you have I squared there. You see how the I squared come in? I times I right here. So what you're going to get, I should have had an equal sign here, equal. Now this I squared is -1 and it's going to turn this negative. So you end up with AC plus BD, then minus, in bracket you can put AD plus BC, AD plus BC, and then I. So that is what you end up with. But anyway, it's a lot of writing and complications when you're dealing with letters. So we're going to look at an example with numbers now. Two numbers can add to give you one single number. So it's going to be easier. And so what we have, suppose we have, for example, let's say 4 plus 8i divided by, and then we have 2 plus 3i. All right? Oh, so 2 plus, 3i. Now, what will we get? I want you to pause the video and try this one. Okay, finished? Now, let us see what happens. We have 4 plus 8i divided by 2 plus 3i. We multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So multiply by 2 minus 3i over 2 minus 3i. Alright? And remember, this is like multiplying by 1. If you cancel them, it's like multiplying by 1. So the value of the number you have here doesn't change. Or the value of the quotient, or this expression doesn't change. It does look different, right? So up top, 4 times 2, that's 8. 4 times -3, that's -3i. 4 3s, that's minus 12i. Then you have plus 8i times 2, 8 2 16, so you have 16i plus 8i times -3i, that's negative 8 3s 24 I squared. Alright? I times I gives you the I squared. And you divide by what now? 2 times 2. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 2 times -3i is negative 236i. 3i times 2 is 3 2s plus 6i. So this will go at some point, and that's why we multiply the denominator by the conjugate, because we want only numbers I. Number plus number I. That's what we're going to end up with. Alright? Remember up here, it happens to be number plus number I. And by the way, hold on. I missed this part out. AC plus BD over C square plus D square. Then plus, notice what happened? Negative AD plus BC over C square plus D square. I. Number plus number I. Alright? So that's what happened there. Yes, so back to what we were doing. Just went up to took a break to this and then realized that I left that part out. So we continue here. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 2 times positive 3i. Right? Oh, my. I got the wrong thing there. It's 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times negative 3i, negative 6i. And 3i times 2. Positive 2 is positive 6i. And then 3, negative 3i times, no, positive 3i times negative 3i. What will that give us? So plus is going to be plus 3 times 3. But negative 3 is 9. I squared. See that? So what happened after that? Up top here, we have 8 minus 12i plus 16i gives you what? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is going to be a positive, a plus 4i. Then minus 24 times I squared, which is negative 1. See that? Over 4 minus 6i plus 6i is 0, that is gone. Then we have minus 9i squared. But guess what? I squared is negative 1 times negative 1. See that? So what you have is 8 minus 24. Alright? Oh, minus negative. Alright, let's write it as it is. Plus 4i minus 24 times negative 1 is plus 24 over, what happened here now? 4 minus negative 9 is plus 9. So what we have is 24 plus 8 is 32 plus 4i over 9 and 4, 13. So what you really end up with here is that this is equal to 32, 13, that's the real part, plus 4 over 13i, the imaginary part. So this is the real part, and this is the imaginary part, right? 4 over 13i. We have 32 over 13 plus 4 over 13i. So that is what you have. So that's the answer for 4 plus 8i plus over 2 plus 3i. Is that what you got when you tried it? Right? Now, of course, if you are working out something that requires some type of decimal, you could just change these to decimal. 32 over 13. Let's write them to 3 decimal places now and see how things will go. So 32 over 13, 2.462, 4 over 13, 0.307. So you have 2.462, 0.308. 2.462, 0.308 plus 0.308 I. So that is your answer.